Dan, Jessica, PFAS chemicals are found in everything from carpets to toys to nonstick cookware. And as we know, Wisconsin has seen increased levels of these chemicals in drinking water across the state. And DeWeese said to know the water that you are drinking and make sure that it's safe, and ask your neighbors if they've had issues with their water. And if you're really concerned, he said to have your water sampled.
All right, Dan, the listening session is set to start here at the Woodruff Town Hall at 5:30, just behind me, and the cars are absolutely pouring into this parking lot.
Dan, many were in attendance here at the Madison Area Technical College just behind me today to get a glimpse of President Biden's future plans to make good on his promise for canceling student loan debt here in Wisconsin and across the country, which we will have more on at 6. But for now, here in Madison, I'm Jake Force, Newswatch 12.
Yeah, Dan, Jessica, Habitat for Humanity here at DC Everest High School is just a few days away from moving this house right behind me to its permanent location. And you know, the best part is that these kids actually get to meet the recipients of the home. So an opportunity for them to put names to faces, faces to names, and really be able to see the impact of their hard work, Dan and Jessica. The Forest County Potawatomi's newly renovated Health and Wellness Center makes even waiting for your appointment just a little bit better. The Forest County Potawatomi is also working with UW Health to expand in areas such as autism treatment, elder care, and cardiology. Reporting in Crandon, I'm Jake Force, Newswatch 12.
A senior Biden administration official says a deal with Hamas for a temporary ceasefire and hostage release is likely not happening today, but it is close. The water is slowly receding in the Houston area, where catastrophic flooding earlier this week flooded at least 700 homes in just one county. And we're not naming the man police arrested because he has not been charged yet in connection to this hit and run, but the same man has a prior conviction of hitting and killing someone with his car in 2018. The United States House of Representatives passed a $98 billion package providing foreign aid for Israel, Ukraine, and the Indo-Pacific region Saturday. The number of high school seniors who have submitted applications for financial aid is down significantly this year. It was a day of celebration, but also mourning in Madison today as the family of Sade Robinson, who was murdered in April, accepted her degree from the Madison Area Technical College. Iranian state media reported that a helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi suffered a, quote, hard landing today, without elaborating. The cargo ship that crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, causing it to collapse, is ready to be refloated and relocated. The warmer temperatures are starting to arrive, which means people are starting to break out the swimsuits to cool off. Newswatch 12's Austin Carisu met with a member of the National Drowning Prevention Alliance to learn more about how people can be prepared for a drowning emergency ahead of their day on the water.
Yeah, Jessica, tonight the Hodags will play host to the Wausau East Lumberjacks, both teams coming off impressive Week 1 victories. So for the Hodags, it will be that defensive line that is key tonight that Coach Kramer was very excited about at the beginning of this season. They'll have to get in Pacey Weber's way if they want to have success tonight. Jessica?
The Pointers took a tough loss against Division I Lindenwood in Week 1, but they weren't fazed by the tough start to the season. Coach Luke Van Ace says the superior competition was good for his group and was impressed with how they bounced back and won a close game against St. Norbert in Week 2. Now, coming out of the bye week, Coach Van Ace said his Pointers are focused on getting better one day at a time.
We're not trying to create a good team. We're trying to create a great program. And sometimes there's some foundation things that have to be laid before you can do that. You can't just wake up one day and say, oh, we're a great program. Sometimes it does take getting punched in the mouth a little bit, and to play at that pace and learn what that pace is, I think is going to help us in the future here in our program.
Coach Vene also said that complementary football was huge in the Week 2 win and noted several standout performances on defense, including junior defensive lineman Tyreek Sims and senior defensive back Gavino Lopez, whose late-game interception helped set up the game-winning field goal.
Tyreek had a great game, 3.5 sacks. Our D-line had 7 sacks on the game. Which is a tremendous number. Our D-line is really a special group of guys. and then we get a couple turnovers, which is huge for our offense.
Another element of complementary football in the Pointers' Week 2 win was special teams, including 70 total kick return yards from sophomore Bryson Cashin, which Vene says greatly benefited the offense.
And our special teams did a really nice job on Saturday, or against Norbert on the 9th there. But that's something we're always trying to improve on, and it's a huge part of the game. It's a huge part of the game that sometimes gets overlooked.
Looking forward to this weekend's matchup against the Albion College Britons, a win would mean back-to-back wins for the Pointers for the first time since the 2021 season and the first of Vene's nearly 17-month tenure at UWSP. He says that while streaks are nice, the focus remains on the future.
We just trying to get better. I mean, streaks is something that we don't really get involved with too much, but it'd be nice to get another win, I'll say that.
The Pointers game against Albion College this Saturday will kick off at 11 a.m., and the link to the game's live stream can be found on our website, wjfw.com.
A lawsuit filed against 3M and the Rhinelander paper mill. Jake?
That's right, guys. So back in June, the manufacturing and retail giant 3M company agreed to pay at least $10 billion to settle lawsuits over PFAS contamination. On Friday, attorneys filed a class action lawsuit against 3M and the Rhinelander paper mill, alleging these companies chose profits over safety and clean water.
The recommended federal standard for PFAS in drinking waters is just 4 parts per trillion, but in some wells in the small Oneida County town of Stella, concentrations surpass 30,000 parts per trillion. It's so bad, the Wisconsin DNR has been providing bottled water to those affected. Law firm Barron & Budd filed a class action lawsuit on August 9th against 3M Company and Alstrom Rhinelander LLC, the current operator of the Rhinelander paper mill. The lawsuit alleges that the mill disposed of waste onto farmland in Oneida County, causing extensive and severe PFAS contamination in private well water. These PFAS chemicals were produced and sold by 3M Company. Barron & Budd says affected Stella residents can participate in a lawsuit which aims to recoup the various costs of the contamination. A spokesperson from Alstrom told Newswatch 12, quote, "It is Alstrom's policy not to comment in detail on open litigation. While we are still reviewing the complaint, it appears to focus on activities that are alleged to have occurred prior to Alstrom's acquisition of the mill in 2018.
The Wisconsin DNR is holding a meeting tomorrow at the Stella Town Hall, where they will discuss long-term solutions to contaminated drinking water in the small community. Representatives from the law firm suing Alstrom have told Newswatch 12 they plan to attend the meeting.
Alleges that the Rhinelander mill is responsible for spreading waste on farm fields in Stella.
Newswatch 12's Jake Force spoke to a lawyer who's a part of the class action lawsuit and has more.
We have a number of people across several miles who have PFAS in their wells at levels that are some of the highest in the country. And we want to hold the companies that have caused this issue accountable for that.
Attorney Brett Land has worked in Barron & Budd Law Firm's environmental litigation group since 2014 and has represented many clients exposed to toxic waste and chemicals. His firm's new class action lawsuit against Alstrom Rhinelander LLC, the parent company of Rhinelander Paper Mill, alleges the mill dumped toxic waste containing PFAS onto farmland in Oneida County. Yesterday, Land was at Town Hall in Stella meeting with residents affected by the town's contaminated water crisis. He said the situation has left residents scared and confused.
You know, they're drinking bottled water, so they're not able to use the water in their house to drink, which is a really big deal. On top of that, you know, more than anything right now, there's the fear of what this could mean for them in the future, both health-wise and financially.
Also named in the lawsuit is manufacturing and retail conglomerate 3M Company, the manufacturer of PFAS chemicals. Land, however, said the extent of the company's involvement in waste application in Oneida County is not yet known.
One of the compounds that we're finding here is called PFOS, and 3M is the sole manufacturer of that compound. So we have on pretty good grounds that their compounds and their products are involved here. Exactly what their role has been, we're going to have to get into the lawsuit to find out.
A statement from Ahlstrom to Newswatch 12 yesterday said, quote, "It is Ahlstrom's policy not to comment in detail on open litigation. While we are still reviewing the complaint, it appears to focus on activities that are alleged to have occurred prior to Ahlstrom's acquisition of the mill in 2018. But Land said there may be evidence to suggest otherwise.
The litigation's underway, so there's a lot left to be learned. We have collected public records showing application of waste there from as recent as 2021, but that is, at this point, all we know at this time.
Thank you, Jake.